I'm almost ready to give up on trying to record this one. Uh, it's Thomas here at Fat Tracks Books and Rectors in Cedar Park. Normally have a hat on, but I went and got my hair did over at Derek's barbershop. Bye, Derek. Nice guy. Walking distance. Yeah, not a big deal. And speaking of things I don't normally do, and why I'm almost ready to give up on this is because I don't normally bring up videos that I just did, and like yesterday, but today I am. And the reason being is that I listened to it. I listened to the video while I was thinking about a response to a comment, and I realized that you folks aren't in my head. And unfortunately, because I usually do these off the cuff, I don't. I ramble, which is why I call them rambles. And I don't necessarily explain myself because, like I said, you're not in my head, but it makes sense in my head. So let me explain a couple more points regarding uh, indie bookstores begging for money.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
Number one, none of us are, what is it, 501c3s. None of us are nonprofits. None of us. The one nonprofit I know of, and I don't even know their name, is in Austin, and they never beg. They're a community run bookstore. All of us, though, are for profit entities. That means you're not supposed to be taking donations. Uh, my shop we're an LLC, and the one I'm going to be talking about is a Corp S, and I'll explain why I know it's a Corp S in a second. But you were really not supposed to be taking donations, particularly not those large donations. And you're not supposed to use volunteers either. That's actually against both federal and state law. So two things: one, no volunteers; two, no donations. Now, folks do the donation thing, and I've argued. I mean, some stores get around it by offering memberships instead, which I've thought about doing, although I'm not real sure what I would offer in a membership. But that's problem number one. The reason that I call it out and I point out that this is all nonprofit stuff is because two things. One, by them doing this and doing it so blatantly, remember one of the companies I'm talking about, and it's actually the one that I was trying to buy. One of the ones I was trying to buy. They explicitly ask for 50 grand. That's a lot of money. They then go on to say, well, what we're really looking for is 175. That's a lot of money. But it goes further than that. So ignore the fact that you're flirting with getting the IRS to crack down on you, or getting the platforms to crack down on you, or getting some regulation or regulatory body coming and chasing after us. There are two other things that happens here. One, you ruin it for everybody else. So if things go south and all of a sudden we need to beg people for money, may happen. Anything can happen. Uh, you're already making it so that there's always the possibility that the IRS cracks down and all of a sudden we're in trouble. Number two, you poison the well for the rest of us because people get tired of it. People hear you beg for money all the time. They get tired of hearing it. They get tired of helping. That's just the way it works. You can only hold your hand out so many times before people are like, nah, no. But the other side, the thing that the real reason why I get so worked up about it is because, and again, I'm talking about explicitly the company that I was looking at buying, and I met with the owner, and we had a couple of meetings, we had a couple of talks. Um, they at the time had like 10 employees, and they used like all the programs that they used, the POS, everything was like the most expensive you could get. They were all like super pro grade for big corporations.
Sometimes things that are expensive are worse.
And they had like 10 employees. The actual owner of the company, I keep seeing someone walking by. The actual owner of the company refused to work the register. And they would go to conferences, and sometimes they would take people with them. There's another one that I know of that begs for money that one of my other industry friends saw at the one of the conferences that just happened in San Antonio. They brought 5 employees with them. Those things aren't cheap. I mean, they're not like, I don't know. I mean, they're expensive enough. I won't go to it. I could buy more books. I could buy more records. You know, um, and that touches on one of the things that the person that commented on Instagram mentioned, that they went to a couple of different places and they couldn't find anything to buy, and they said they didn't really blame the store for not having, like, one of them's a used bookstore, and they said that they didn't blame them because you're limited by what you can get in from people, what people donate.
Don't blame me, ho.
If people can't buy things at your store, and then you turn around and you spend even more money, and then you beg for money, and it's like, and that's kind of where I'm going with it. Is that I don't. It's not my place to judge, but at the same time, being in the same industry, watching people do this, you know, no one wants to say, oh, well, they're our competition, and they're not our competition. But they're not our competition because we're very niche. We're very specific on what we carry, on where we're aimed. So they can't be our competition unless they enter into this realm with us. But at the same time, they're still in the same industry, and their actions reflect on the whole. And if people go to their local bookstore and their local bookstore they're pulling these stunts, they just kind of naturally assume that everyone else is pulling this stunt. Um, and that's just not cool. And that's where I was going with it. Is, you know, where, yeah, the economy sucks, but you aren't helping yourself by doing these things, and you're definitely not helping the rest of us by going and begging for money when you just spent a bunch of money going to the conference, and you've got multiple employees, and you refuse to run a register, and you use the most expensive software and the most expensive POS system. You know, uh, so there you go. That's the gripe, and that's one of the things that's behind the scenes at bookstores, I suppose. Yeah. So let's not talk about this ever again, because this was terrible, and I just felt like I needed to talk about it, and it's almost 10 minutes. So anyway, but if you've got any more comments, I'll just keep them in the comment section this time. So feel free to leave a message or a note, and otherwise swing by here at Fat Tracks Books and Records in Cedar Park and find you a horror book, and then pay me money for it so I don't have to beg. Okay. Take care.
Now let's all get drunk and play ping pong. Yeah!